everything litty. I love when it's hot. Turn to the city, I broke all the knots. Got some more millies.
What is going on, you beautiful bastards? Your boy Said Reacts. We're back with another reaction. Today we got something completely different from what we usually watch. A lot of people have probably heard about the day before, the game that came out, the game that, you know, was hyped up for some reason, even though people didn't look at the background. I was always confused as to why this game was hyped up, honestly, because knowing the devs, I kind of knew this would come out, and, you know, okay, first of all, I didn't know this would come out. No one knew this would come out, let's be honest here. The fact that it did come out was a surprise to me. The fact that it came out and was an entirely different genre of what they advertised was not a surprise at all. But this is a pretty, like, I would say this is the biggest thing to hit gaming this year, the day before, and it's in a negative way, but according to this guy, it's the day before disaster sets a dangerous precedent, which is, I kind of want to know what he means by that. So if you guys are new to the channel from this and you want more content like this, and make sure you subscribe and make sure you let me know. Make sure you leave a comment letting me know what video you'd like me to react to next. That being said, I hope you guys are ready. I'm ready. Let's get it. Let's go.
Are high-profile scam games about to become the new trend? The day before is a...
I see what he means. I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it because they got so much negative feedback. I mean, it is one of the worst reviewed game of all time on Steam, and I think it's one of the games also on Steam that had the most what do you call it, refunds percentage wise of how many times it was purchased.
A scary example of what's now possible with modern game engines and overflowing asset stores.
It does look
a small group
decent.
of devs are now able to fake game trailers, plagiarize marketing from high-profile games and movies, and release a product just playable enough to get you past the refund time limit on Steam so that they can get away with as much cash as possible. And literally while recording this voiceover, they made a statement on Twitter saying that they are closing the studio because, unfortunately, the day before has failed financially and they lack the funds to continue. / they want to run away with the money and avoid all potential lawsuits as best.
Right, that is yeah, we all saw that coming though. Like, no one with a head on their shoulders that knows about this studio thought, they're probably gonna make other games. No, it's an asset grab game. Like, it's literally all assets that already existed. Essentially what they did is they forked multiple games into one, and it is something we might see more in the future, depending on how well they made off financially. I doubt they made that much money, but for the amount of money they put in, they made a ton of money percentage wise coming back. The return on investment is very, very high.
Best as possible.
Which is scary.
Let's educate ourselves on asset flip games because honestly, I think gamers are in store for a lot more day before like projects.
Just keep an eye out for the studios.
There's a lot to unpack here, and going over every single detail of the day before just wouldn't be worth the time, so here's the Cliff Notes version. The day before was revealed back in 2021 with a trailer that had a lot of people excited. Marketed as an open-world MMO survival shooter that honestly looked a lot like The Division, but with zombies, players were excited for a DayZ meets The Division type experience.
But how did I know at that exact moment that it was going to be what it is today? Because of who made the game. That's what you have to look into every time. I know it's bad, but if you get overhyped about a new game, see, like for me, I watched the Game Awards and I got insanely hyped about Light No Fire, although I do control it knowing that it comes from Hello Games, and the release of No Man's Sky was disastrous. That being said, the work they put in No Man's Sky, I think they can sit up high with their heads up and say that they made a great game, because No Man's Sky now is amazing. At release it was bad. Did they learn from that? We'll know from the release of Light No Fire. Am I going to pre-order Light No Fire? No, but the game looks amazing. So if it does come out good, yeah, I'll buy it. Stop pre-ordering games. Just wait one more day. Like...
And in fact, it looks so much like The Division and other games that people pointed out how the marketing shots were copied pretty much directly from The Division and Call of Duty, and the logo from The Last of Us, and the vehicle shots were from SnowRunner, and frankly, a lot more. Yet, even with a completely unproven game that was already going down the sketchy marketing path, they somehow got featured by Nvidia's main channel, showing the power of RTX in the day before. And to be honest, that in itself probably lent a lot of credibility to the game being real. I mean, if Nvidia's gonna show it off, they must have done their research, right? Well, the day before finally launched just a few days ago, and it is real. It's just not the game it was
so
advertised to be, like even in the slightest. And it's buggy.
Prox chat is apparently coming. Oh, fuck, he just bursted out of the car. Whoa, what the fuck?
And missing just about all the features you would expect to be in any game, let alone what was advertised for this game. The game simply is a scam, but it's still pretending not to be, hiding behind its early access tag, and frankly, there are some people.
A lot of games hide behind this tag, and this tag is becoming more and more recurrent, normal practice in gaming. If you look at games like, the game I play the most, the game I love, Escape from Tarkov, it is an open beta or a closed beta because you have to buy it. I'm not too sure. It is closed beta, yeah. But they tell you, like, this is a beta, so if you encounter bugs or blah, 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 then, it's a beta, so it's not really our fault, but the game's been out for like 8 years. So what are we doing? Is it ever coming out? Like, it's probably not. You have that tag in front of your game that excuses laziness as a developer, so you're probably going to leave it there, right?
Still defending it. And looking at the game, the world design pretty much just copies better looking games like the...
One more thing, this is why Baldur's Gate wiped the floor at the Game Awards with every single game and category it was in, because they released a full game. And that's the first time we've heard of that in 10 years.
Vision using a ton of high-end assets and Unreal Engine 5 to make it look decent, which in itself would be fine. It's honestly one of the more exciting things about modern gaming.
Look at that dump truck.
Tech is the ability to start delivering AAA level visuals with a small indie team. Plus, using pre-made assets isn't necessarily a bad thing. There's a lot of great games out there that use a lot of these assets but deliver a fantastic experience with them. However, what the day before has done feels like it might be the beginning of a new wave of high-profile asset flip titles. Projects that sink just enough time and money into the promotional material and early gameplay to get you playing past the refund time limit on Steam, which is 2 hours, by the way. Then they promise and maybe even deliver a tiny amount of updates to pretend like there's a future to the game, and then they run away with the cash, citing things like review bombs and lack of support or something like that to justify their move. Now, for those of you who are not quite caught up on the whole asset flip thing, an asset flip game, generally speaking, means a quick, inexpensive game made through buying assets from the Unity or Unreal store, throwing them together in an uninspired, often copycat game design, usually built around whatever's trending at the time, and hoping that it'll get enough coverage to pull in some sales before people realize that it's absolute garbage.
Right.
However, those games are usually low profile enough to only gain traction in smaller communities. Yet, with the day before, it seems like the rest of the world are about to get a real taste of this sleazy market, as game engines like Unreal Engine 5 let you import tons and tons of low-cost, if not free, assets.
And one more thing about UE5 is that, like, as you can see right there on the screen, that's all textures. Like, all those little shapes are different textures, different shading, different colors, and that's what you get with UE5. Is a very, very, very good looking game. UE5 is, whether you build it or you asset flip, the game is going to look amazing because UE5 is a great engine.
Features like Nana and Lumen Tech now let you load in high-quality, high-res assets into the game with little to no optimization needed, and the engine will now optimize the geometry for you to hit the desired poly counts on screen.
Yep.
Frankly, it's revolutionary and awesome tech, as it opens up the dev process to be way faster and more adaptable. Now, even movie-level VFX assets can be imported into video games with minimal tweaking, allowing devs to access an abundance of high-quality world building tools. And even further than that, Unity and Unreal have first-person shooter templates already set up as a starting point for game projects and relatively easy ways to download most of the systems and features that you might need, such as looting and inventory systems. You can literally buy looter shooter bundles that get you most of the way towards having a playable game without needing to do all of the legwork to get there.
Yep.
And in fact, a Reddit user who is very familiar with the asset store listed out all of the assets that the day before used, and it is a long list. I'm not even sure they made any original assets for the actual game world.
I doubt it.
And some of the assets used even indicate that the alleged development time was way shorter than expected, considering how long the assets were even available for purchase. Now, beyond that, the trailers and in-game voiceovers all seem to be using AI voiceover work, and even the lines from the AI appear to be written out by something like ChatGPT with awkward word choices at times.
Great. Maybe I can sell my junk there and get myself a better rifle.
Let's find some fuel and go.
In the Survivor Colony, you can sell and buy any items, as well as cooperate with other players.
But first, you will create your unique character. Select a personality, choose a gender, and customize every detail.
Again, it's just good enough to perhaps fool some people into thinking that they're about to play a better quality game, or a better game is in the works and this is just placeholder. But to anyone...
I'll be honest, if you bought this is your fault. Like, I don't understand how you got fooled by this. If you get fooled by this, you... Look, man, I understand that some people are very busy and they work 60 to 80 hours a week and they don't have the time to look at... If you're sold a game, the game should be what it says it is. I understand that, and that's entirely on them. I'm not blaming you for buying it, but I do think you have a responsibility part in this. Like, this is coming from a dev team that is renowned for doing this, and... Or not a dev team, but a group of people. I think you should look more into it, is what I think. I think when you go pick up, meat at the market, you probably look at the date on it to make sure you're not buying something expired.
Anyone that understands the tools and talent at work here, their entire game is basically a facade. Something built to look better and deeper than it is or was ever intended to be. Because to make this game right, the effort and resources needed would be massive. Like The Division level massive. You can't make an open world MMO Division style game without those same resources backing the project. Now, to give Fantastic, the developers, some credit, though I really shouldn't, it does take work to put all of this stuff together. You can't just buy a lot of assets and feature packs and plug them in and get a working game. Dev work clearly was done here, but that's about all the credit they deserve. In fact, there's a game developer / content creator, Crimson Dev, who is jokingly remaking his own version of The Day Before and posting his progress on Twitter to show how relatively simple it is.
That's funny.
He's doing it solo and about 30 days into the project, and has already created many of the game's basic mechanics while actually improving upon them. And again, while it shows that creating this project isn't necessarily a no-effort task, it's a much lower effort than I think most people realize. You can make something that looks like The Division at a glance, and especially for trailer purposes, but the reality is that the game is bare bones AF and would need likely years and a much larger dev team to even come close to the original promises of the trailer. Honestly, they very much run the risk of a lawsuit, or at the very least being taken down from Steam. In fact, some of the original trailers were removed from the Fantastic YouTube channel, but luckily there are backups from IGN. The game, simply put, isn't an MMO as it's described on Steam.
No, it is not.
It's an extraction shooter, and a crappy one at that looks incredibly barren with few opponents, barely any zombies, and more or less a fake, uninteresting environment built from assets that were primarily not designed for this game. The features shown off in previous trailers that made the game stand out and attracted a crowd are all pretty much non-existent. Heck, the game doesn't even have basic stuff like vaulting. There's no proximity chat, no crafting, no detailed debris physics system and destructible environment, no hordes of zombies, cool finishing moves, muddy driving conditions, or really weather effects of any kind for that matter. Now, on launch day, the day before, saw 38,000 concurrent players online, which, unsurprisingly, has dropped off a cliff. The average playtime, according to SteamDB, is under 2 hours, so hopefully most people should be able to request refunds without opening a support ticket on Steam. For anyone else, though, I would recommend opening a support ticket to get your refund. Apparently, Steam is allowing a lot of these people to get their refunds, but it does make me wonder if Steam should be taking a stronger stance towards policing these types of projects, especially—
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think they should allow you, when a situation calls for it for a game like this, I think they should allow you to refund it after the 12-hour period, but I don't think they can do or should do much more than this, because then a game could literally just be review bombed and they would take it off.
Especially when there's blatantly false advertising on the Steam page itself. With Fantastic claiming that they are in the red and have to shut down their company, it does make me wonder whether or not they are actually getting away with millions of dollars in unrefundable game purchases, since the game retailed, at least in the US, for $39.99. Lots of players played past the 2-hour mark, which means that they would have to go through a special system to try and request a refund. Are they actually in the red, or are they just telling their other developers that so they don't have to pay them and get out of there with an excuse? Given the years of lies and marketing material leading up to this game's launch, the fact that they advertised the game in Times Square, I wouldn't trust a word coming out of these devs' mouth. There's a good chance that they have a big chunk of cash and they're trying to get away with it. And if not, and they actually are in the red and this whole thing backfired on them, hopefully that'll send a message to other people trying the same type of high-profile scams. I get a feeling that there's going to be more in the future. Anyway, I hope this video shines a little bit of light on the development process and keeps you guys from buying the day before. And if you guys think I did a good job making this video, leave me a like, hit that sub button if you haven't already, and ding that notification bell to beat the YouTube algorithm with me. And up next, check out this video detailing the best free-to-play games that you can get right now.
I think this was a really good video. It didn't really go in depth, which is fine, although, you know, it's a 10-minute video, so he can't really do that. But he did go over very important points. And like I said, look, I understand that when you buy something, if you're going to the store and you're getting a bottle and it says water, you should be expecting to be buying water, right? And if a game tells you this is an open world MMO, you should be expecting to receive an open world MMO when you buy it. That being said, you know, unless you're buying a game from a developer you know is legit, like a team you know is legit and has worked on and you know exactly what you're gonna get, yeah, you could pre-order it. But if you're not sure, maybe wait a day, maybe wait a week. You know, it won't kill you. That being said, I doubt it's gonna set a precedent, just because of the fact that I don't think a lot of people will want that tag on them, because these guys are probably not going to be able to work in the industry ever again. But yeah, no, you guys can let me know what you think in the comments. If you enjoy the video, leave a like, leave a comment, let me know what you'd like to see next on the channel. Subscribe if you haven't done it yet. The original will be in the description, so if you guys want to go check it out on your own, show level cap some love, I'd appreciate that. I'm going to subscribe. And that's been it. It's been your boy Cedric Reacts. Hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. I'm out. Peace.